Hi everybody, welcome to the new apartment. Oh my gosh, look at it, it's amazing. First video on the Danno channel in the apartment and I feel lovely. It's a little, it's a little held together by, blood, sweat, tears, duct tape. There's some wires hanging out, some of the wall panels are coming off. All of these posters are so unstable, but hey, it's fine. You know what, it's cool to be back. And to celebrate finally having a fresh new start, I am going to end my career by talking about all of the YouTubers that I have met in person and ranking them based on how much I like them. And be warned, I'm not holding back, okay? I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm gonna be real, there's gonna be a lot of glazing in this video. What can I say? I've just met a lot of nice people. It's not my fault. Well, for the most part. Okay, so we have our big group of YouTubers here, most of which I love, but there's a couple that we're gonna be harsh, we're gonna be honest. All right, so this is all the YouTubers that I've either met in person or have had conversations with, either on Discord, DMs, and I have no particular order. Let's start off nice and simple. Pear, he's towards the middle. All right, listen, when I first met Pear, I don't think I really understood who he was, all right? He was a little... How do I put this? He was Pear, all right?
I will karate chop his liver and hold him hostage while I run to the South Korean border.
But the more that I got to know him, the more I got to understand that, oh, no, he's not like, mean or uptight or anything. He's just like a genius. He's also super nice and friendly, and the way that he jokes around with you is as if you've been friends for 10 years. So while it put me off at the start, now Pear and I are besties. Are you kidding me? I've known him for like 3 years. Obvious S tier. Spoiler alert, most of Rumble Pack is going in S. Also, by the way, Pear's YouTube game is insane. He's probably... No, he is the smartest YouTuber I have ever met. And I mean that genuinely, like he is locked in, he understands analytics and what people want. I love Pear. All right, on to Bam. Another reason I'm doing this, by the way, is I tried making shorts a long time ago about like, oh, the truth about Bam Bayo, and it was just gonna be me saying nice things about my friends because I feel like, they deserve it. And I wanted people to know how cool they are in real life. And I made one for Bam, so you guys already know. Bam is literally one of my favorite human beings of all time, and I love him to death. You know what, Pear has to get knocked down to A just because of how purely great Bam is. Yeah, I'm sorry, Pear, but I mean, Pear would agree. Bam is one of those once-in-a-lifetime friends that you would actually die for. And another one of those once-in-a-lifetime friends, Bundan. Look at Bundan. Oh, we love Bundan. Listen, Bundan, he just messages me about mental health and stuff sometimes, and he asks me how I'm doing. He checks up on... I feel really bad putting Pear down here and the rest of Rumble Pack up here. You know what? I'm just gonna... Pear gets a little halfway point. Not because Pear is like a worse friend than these two, but I feel like these two deserve their credit for just always messaging me and being there for me and being just the best friends ever. All right, you know what? Let's just knock out the rest of Rumble Pack while we're at it. Johnny, of course. All right, so another interesting thing with Johnny is when I saw Johnny on like shorts and stuff, I always thought that he was a little bit egotistical. Don't ask why, it was just the vibe that I got, all right? Oh, who's this cool guy in his glasses and everything? I think it actually just genuinely was the glasses that I thought that he was cooler than me. And then he comes around with his whole Waffle House shebang and just floods all the comment sections. Are you kidding me? Who does this guy think he is? And then, Shorts Wars came around and we got closer. And then what really happened is I met him at VidCon and then I realized, oh, no, he's just a nerd. A nerd in a good way, like he's like me. He's not quiet because he thinks he's better than everybody else. He's quiet because he's a nerd. And I mean that in the best way possible. Oh my gosh, I love Johnny. Johnny and Pear are both in the AS tier. But again, Johnny, one of the most creative people in the world, and I genuinely think out of all the members of Rumble Pack, if one of us is gonna invent something absolutely iconic that will stay around forever, it's gonna be Johnny, all right? I know he has all these bad ideas, quote unquote, but a lot of them are actually great ideas, and one of these days, he's gonna have the great idea. Shorts Wars. But the great idea that makes him a superstar, all right? Where's the rest of Rumble Pack? Oh, Joe. All right, I say Rumble Pack. Tragically, Joe died a long time ago. But Joe is another one of those super wholesome souls. I haven't spoken to him in a while, so I gotta give him down here. But at the same time, I feel like just as a person, he's up here with Bundan and Bam as just one of the greatest people ever. Genuinely, I think the nicest man I've ever met. I love him so much. He's always so supportive and so nice. You know what? Joe made me like Swedish people, okay? I never hated them, all right? But, the only Swedish person I knew was PewDiePie. But Joe made me actively love them. On the other side of the coin, C-Dot made me hate Canadians because he left Rumble Pack, so he gets an F tier. I'm kidding, okay? Obviously, C-Dot is up here with the rest of Rumble Pack because he was the first Nintendo nerd that I really connected with. Like, I had people throughout school that were Nintendo nerds and stuff too, but C-Dot was just... I don't know. I feel like any game of Mario trivia, he could beat me. And he was the first person that I met that could actually do that. I mean, honestly, nowadays, my Nintendo nerd boy status has just kind of died. But either way, C-Dot is just cool. And he understands games and stuff, and his sense of humor is peak, and I love him. Actually, never mind. I'm still putting him in F because he thinks Mario Galaxy 2 is better. All right, next up, I'm just going to start going randomly. Let's do... All right, now let's start with people that I haven't interacted that much. All right, Royal Proto. Not much to say. Proto is a goat. I'm going to give him a solid B tier. I've only interacted with him a couple times, but every time he's been chill. Super epic. Super lovely, nice guy. He falls in a little bit more of the friend of the friend category, but that doesn't make him any less cool, all right? From all the times that we've spoken on Discord and stuff, you kidding me? Yeah, he's a goat. Next up, Stay. Stay is another one of those people that I feel like is just a super genius YouTuber, all right? Like, he's gonna be one of the biggest creators out there soon, just trust. And if you guys haven't seen his animation qualities and stuff, it's crazy, all right? Solid B tier as well. Actually a super cool friend. Garrett the Carrot. I actually met Garrett at VidCon, and oh my gosh, he is super cool. He's commented on a bunch of my videos. I've commented back on a couple of his, and I love Garrett. Have you seen his anime? Okay, this is one of those people. We're getting into the territory of like actual animators that I feel intimidated to talk to because I automatically am like, you're better than me. What can I say? Dude, I genuinely, there's been a couple times when I just go down a rabbit hole of watching all of Garrett's shorts. Speaking of actual animators, Smokey B also goes in this tier because, oh my gosh, listen, I met Smokey B for the first time in I think a C-Dot stream, no, a Cinnamon stream, one of the two. And I remember when he told me that Smokey B was going to be there, I immediately started sweating because I was like, oh no. Okay, you know what? In high school, did you ever have that like cool friend that was like a friend of a friend that you didn't really know that well and you were intimidated to talk to them because you just know that they're like super cool and better than you, but you're like, yeah, I really want to be friends with that person? Smokey B in a nutshell. And also an actual talented animator, while I use freaking PowerPoint. Another one of the really talented animators, Dude Dan's. Are you kidding me? Another creator who I've binged all of his shorts just for the fun of it because all of them are that entertaining. Listen, if you've seen a Dan short, you already know. You know, these four are just like the trio of real animators that intimidates me, but I'm really grateful to be friends with. I say intimidates me like they're looming presences or something, but no, they're all super nice people. You know, that's the thing too with YouTubers, all right? You have this image of them in your mind. You're like, oh my gosh, they're a great animator. They must be, you know, like super serious about their job and everything. In reality, no, they're all really friendly people. Next up, I'm gonna toss in Master Builders. Another person who I haven't gotten to talk to a whole lot, but from every single interaction I've seen with them, they're super cool. Also, they're a Moon Knight main and rivals, so that automatically gives them a bump, actually. Okay, actually, I'm gonna move these guys down from the little half area, but just know that all of these guys are incredibly close. Ranking this is like actually pulling teeth. I feel bad categorizing my friends. Next up, Radukins. Again, haven't spoken to him a whole lot, but from every single interaction I've had with him, it's been amazing. Done on a couple shorts of his, and he's always super funny, and he came on the podcast. He's just cool. I'm gonna say that about so many people. Listen, I get Hacked Crusade, another friend of a friend. Haven't spoken to him much, but I love him. He's super cool. Okay, we're actually getting into the territory of a lot of people who I haven't spoken to a whole lot, but again, from the interactions I've had with them, super cool. Actually, you know what? Jellybean also goes in the intimidation friend with a friend category. You know what? I actually have a story about Jellybean. Okay, listen, Jellybean was the first person on this whole list, I believe, that I knew about them before I was even a YouTuber. Like, I'd seen their shorts before I was a YouTuber. And it's because of Jellybean that I was afraid of people calling me a PNG tuber because of how much hate Jellybean got. And even when Jellybean appeared in like Pear's like Among Us stream, people in the comments were like, Pear, I can't believe you're with Jellybean. And then I actually met them and I was like, oh my gosh, the internet is terrible. Jellybean is genuinely one of the nicest people ever, and not to mention hilarious, but I mean, what the heck, guys? Come on, your favorite YouTuber Danno says they're cool, so they must be. Next up, Mog Swamp, of course. Mog Swamp is a goat, and Mog Swamp actually knows my sister, which is weird. Dude, he worked for my sister's husband before he did YouTube, before I did YouTube. I have two sisters and they're both a lot older than me. And my sister actually mentioned to him, I think a while ago, oh yeah, my little brother's a YouTuber too. And I think Mog Swamp heard that and was like, oh, cool. Which is kind of an issue that whenever people are like, you know, oh, I'm a YouTuber, then people automatically think like, oh, you mean you have like what, like 100 subs or whatever? But then she actually mentioned my name somehow, that her brother's name was Danny or Daniel or whatever. And of course, my sister doesn't call me Danno. That's my professional work name. But luckily, Mogswamp put the dots together and was like, oh my gosh, I did Shorts Wars with your little brother. So he just sent me a selfie of him and my sister and my brother-in-law at a barbecue. So yeah, that's how I know Mogswamp. But other than that, also super cool. He's the first guest on the Rumble Pack podcast. He's just a GOAT Minecraft YouTuber. And yeah, we love ourselves some Mogswamp. All right, next up, H1T1 and Sambucha. I would put them both here as they're also in that category of I haven't talked to them, but they're super cool. Well, I have talked to them, just not a whole lot. I think H1T1 I literally interacted with for like 5 Discord messages. But he's also a friend of Bundun's, and Bundun says he's super cool. I agree. He was super nice to me in the Discord messages. What can I say? So yeah, he goes in B. And also, I just love his content. All of these people, by the way, I wasn't judging on their content, but if I was, they'd all be an A tier. They all put effort into their shorts. They're all super high quality, get real. But Sambucha, you know what? I actually have to knock him down to C. All right, hear me out. I'm a big Sambucha fan. I've watched a lot of his shorts, a lot of his long form videos. He's a great YouTuber. He puts a lot of effort into all of his stuff. And he's always just got that super chillaxed attitude with the backwards hat and stuff. But also, I met him during a Smash Brothers tournament. I don't know if I versed him or not. I think I did and he railed me. Maybe I didn't verse him. But what did happen is before the tournament started, we were all in a Discord call and we were just chatting and stuff. And I mentioned to Sam that my girlfriend is a big fan of him. Because it's true, Leia likes watching Sambucha all the time. And he replied with, oh, thanks. Say hi to your girlfriend for me. And then he stuttered and he goes, wait, not like that. And everybody in the call laughed. But there was a lot of people in the call. This wasn't just a one-on-one with me and Sambucha. This was a one-on-one with me, Sambucha, and everyone else in the tournament. And everybody else heard Sam go, say hi to your girlfriend for me. I'm just kidding. I'm not actually offended by it. It was a funny joke. But also, you know what? He could take my girl, so he's going in F. All right, next up, King Samalot. Okay, again, I think most of you guys are going to think I'm just playing it safe by putting everybody in B tier, but I can't say anything else. All these guys are just super nice. Samalot came on the podcast. He's super great. He was really funny, and we got along well. He jumped on my bits during the podcast, and that automatically won him like 10 points. M. Swizzle, another GOAT, another Nintendo King. Dude, we're falling off the page here. Met him through C-Dot, another one of those guys that's just pretty cool, and all of his content is amazing. And unironically, I don't watch any other Nintendo content creators now, except for him, C-Dot, and like Arlo. Cinemunch goes in A tier just because he's the nicest, most wholesome guy ever, and another one of those people that talks about mental health and can actually get super real with you. Oh, crud, I forgot Degis. Cinemunch and Degis go hand in hand. They're both super nice people. And Degis is also just like one of the funniest guys I've ever met.
Man, shout out Gumball's mom, bro.
Johnny too. Actually, also Pear. Let's also Bunda. You know, all these people. All right, we're getting down to the last few. Let's do Dacha first. All right, so Dacha gets an F for ruining my series. I'm kidding. They get a D for Dacha. No, I'm just kidding. Dacha gets an A tier for a couple reasons. First, because I'm actually super grateful to Dacha in particular for being the first YouTuber to actually like full-on tackle Riggy lore. I'm always going to be super grateful for Dacha because they were genuinely the first person to like actually look at all of these details that I had been hiding. Genuinely, for the longest time, I hid all of these little Riggy lore details in a bunch of shorts, and I was kind of sad that no one was putting them together. And then Dacha actually did. So yeah, Dacha is a VIP, and they always are gonna hold a special place in my YouTube heart. And also, from the behind the scenes meeting, just super nice person, what can I say? Also, out of like this whole list, Dacha is the only other person that's like chronically on Twitter like me. So we interact a lot on there too. They just vibe with bits, so automatic plus 100 points to Gryffindor, I don't know. Anna, editor of the podcast, editor of this video, one of the funniest women that I have ever met. Not as funny as Leia, but you know, she and Johnny are just like a hilarious duo, okay? I thought she was creepy when I first met her, but now you're cool. Everybody say thank you, Anna, for editing. Next up, Chupo. Okay, actually, I lied. I said that Jellybean was the only other creator that I had, like, known of before I became a YouTuber. That's a complete lie, because Chupo, I actually just straight up watched his videos while I was editing my first short and stuff. It was a mixture of him and Chuckle Sandwich and things that actually made me, like, a career. Yeah, Chupo gets an A tier. Okay, there's not enough room in here anymore, so I'm just gonna, like, slap him here. Besides, he's like an AB anyway. No, quite honestly, all these guys mix. Let's just get real. Most of these guys mix, all right? They're a lot closer than this chart will have you believe. But Chupo is super cool, not only because I'm just addicted to all of his content, but because we've actually chatted a couple times and he's just a vibe. Okay, I lied again. I just remembered Get Mads as well, another person that I used to watch when I was like a while ago. And dude, have you seen his style recently? Oh my gosh, that's another one of those animation YouTubers that's intimidating to me. He's super cool. The first interaction we ever had was just arguing about the new Donkey Kong design, of which I was in the wrong. He was right. The new design is pretty good now. And last but not least, my buddy Cryospace. Of course, Matt's been a friend of mine for like years, so this is kind of unfair, but yeah. Another one of the cool Minecraft YouTubers out there. Okay, you know what I just remembered actually before I finalized the list? Technically, I have met jschlatt because he was on the Minecraft server that I played on for a little bit. So while I don't actually know Schlatt, like I haven't actually become friends with him or anything like the rest of these people, I met him once and he was really funny. He threw me in a furnace because I was a shorts YouTuber, and let's be real, shorts YouTubers suck, all right? He's valid for that.
That's how I feel about you shorts YouTubers. Useless.
I'm putting him in C tier because we're not friends, and also I feel like I made a bad impression on him. If you guys don't know, basically, I submitted for one of his, like, streams about, like, reviewing rooms, and I made a weird comment about Joe Bartolozzi that made me sound like, oh, you let freaking Joe Bartolozzi on your podcast? I'm so much better than him. When in reality, I was saying, you let a TikToker on your YouTube podcast? What the heck, man? And then later I found out that no, Joe Bartolozzi is actually a YouTuber. He has, like, tons of subscribers on YouTube, and I just didn't know about it. So stupid, man. But anyway, I'm kind of afraid that jschlatt doesn't like me now. I mean, he did throw me in a furnace. Okay, and by furnace, I mean, like, a brazen bull. It's one of those, like, ancient torture devices. But it's okay. I'm just gonna pretend that he doesn't know who I am, and I still get to have him as my favorite YouTuber. I kind of smell meat. Man. I don't know if I...
Stay in the bowl.
Okay.
Get back into the flame.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I feel bad for C-Dot being all the way in F there. Here, let's put him in his real place. Now, again, these people all kind of mix. I know some of these people better than others, and if any of them get canceled, I don't think they would, though. Listen, in reality, the one thing that I really don't like about people, like, when I meet them, the only thing that, like, gives me an ick when I meet new people is them having a sense of being better than you. You know what I mean? I've met plenty of people like that, all right? And I've gotten just so lucky because I thought that meeting YouTubers that, you know, they would be the ones out of anybody to have that weird sense of unearned ego. But all of these people that I've met are extremely down-to-earth, caring, kind people, and also just nice. You know, I message them every now and then for advice or just, you know, small conversations about nerd stuff, and all of them want to keep the conversation going for a while. I mean, to be fair, we're all awkward shut-ins because all of us, you know, spend our lives editing behind a computer, but all of them are just nice. You know, a lot of these people appear in my streams. I come in their streams. We comment on each other's comment sections, not for attention or anything, but just because we genuinely want to show support for the people that we like. And yeah, I've gotten really lucky to have this career where I've met all of these nice people. Also, Point Crow. I've had one conversation with him, but from that's all I need. All right, he's cool too. Hold on, let me toss him on the list. All right, cool. And that is all of the YouTubers that I have had at least one conversation with. If I forgot you, I am so sorry. I just know the second that I stop recording, I'm gonna say, oh man, I can't believe it. Okay, it is 3 days later. I am unshaven, I am unshowered, but I remember two more. Gabercat and Robert IDK, both of them goats, both of them going in the A, B, BA, B category of just, they're cool, okay? Gabercat interviewed me a while ago, and Robert IDK, I met him at VidCon, super chill guy, my favorite reaction YouTuber, and yeah, yeah. Also, Switch, I guess, and Nix the Shield, both of whom are working on my literal child, Toon Turf. So, obviously, they have to rank in the A tier. There's not enough room for them, but I'm just, you know, just shove them in there. Yeah. Nix is the one scoring all of Toon Turf. Switch is a guest musician in the first episode, but still, both very, very cool. We love. Okay, wait. Last one before the video goes up. Okay, 3Ds. 3Ds is a goat. All right, we like 3D. We love 3Ds. His name is Danny too, and all his shorts super funny, and he's actually a really, really good editor. And we messaged a bit in the content creator server that I'm in. So yeah, we love 3Ds. And geez, I'm a mess. Listen, if I forgot you, I am so sorry. Okay, I have the memory of a goldfish. Wait, hold on. I made a short talking about how goldfish don't have bad memories. I have the memory of I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm sorry. Quick story time. When I was a kid in freshman year, I had the biggest birthday party ever. I invited so many people. I was going through a breakup. I just wanted to have a big birthday party. And I literally invited nearly every person that I had interacted with in the past couple years. And I specifically remember that I forgot to invite one person, and he commented on the post. And I remember when he commented and he said, "Happy birthday, dude. It looks like you had so much fun." My heart genuinely shattered in that moment. I heard the Undertale sound effect in my ear. So yeah, if you're the YouTuber that I left out of this list, comment on this video and make my heart break again. I'm so sorry. But hey, you guys know who you are. If we've chatted even just a little bit, know that I appreciate you and I'm grateful for you being a friend. Anyway, next time I do a tier list, make sure to join me so we can rank all of my favorite childhood YouTubers and see how well they've aged. Or how not so well. And I know I've said it a couple times, but Anna and I are actually gonna start pumping out these videos. For a while, I was waiting to publish these so I could sandwich stream highlights in them, but now I'm just gonna throw out stream highlights whenever I can and just upload this type of content for the most part whenever I can. Okay, bye everybody.